Commander Jace Ward opened his eyes slowly. Smoke was filling the cockpit. Sparks jumped from broken wires. He could smell burning metal. His ship, the Falcon 9, had crash-landed. Outside the cracked glass, tall blue trees swayed in the wind. Strange birds called from the thick jungle. Jace tried to move. Pain shot through his leg. He was bleeding, but not badly. The mission had gone wrong. He was flying a scout route near neutral space when Zirn ships attacked. Giant insect-like aliens, the Zirn had no mercy. Jace had fought them before, but this time they had numbers. He escaped with skill, but not fast enough. The ship was broken. He had no radio, no food, no help. "This is just great," he muttered, pushing open the cockpit. The jungle was quiet. Too quiet. He grabbed his emergency kit, checked his laser pistol, and limped into the forest. There was no clear path, just vines and huge roots. Jace followed a strange humming sound coming from the east. After 2 hours, he found it, a giant stone doorway, covered in glowing lines. Old carvings showed stars, planets, and people with shining skin dyed it looked like a temple curious. Jace stepped inside. The air was cooler here. Glowing crystals lit the walls. He followed a path deeper inside. His steps echoed. It felt like no one had been here for centuries. Then he saw her. A girl, lying in a glass chamber. Her skin was pale blue. Her white hair floated around her head. She looked like she was sleeping, but barely breathing. Jace's hand went to his weapon, but he paused. She didn't look dangerous. She looked sick. A soft voice filled the room. "Vital signs of fading. Blood decay, 89%. The words came from a small floating orb beside the chamber. An AI assistant, maybe. Jace stepped closer. Her face looked peaceful, but sad. "Who is she?" he whispered. The AI answered, "Subject, Princess Alira of Varellan, last of her kind." Jace blinked. Varellan? That was just a legend, a race said to be full of light and knowledge. People said they vanished long ago. The orb glowed again. No compatible blood found. Decay increasing. Life signs critical. Jace looked down at the girl. Her fingers were curled, her lips dry. Without help, she would die. He reached into his bag for water. As he leaned forward, a sharp crystal cut his hand. Blood dripped onto the chamber. The lines on the glass lit up. The chamber opened. Alira gasped. The room filled with soft blue light. The wound on Jace's hand glowed, and the blood soaked into her skin. Her chest rose sharply. Color returned to her face. She blinked and looked at him. Jace stepped back, unsure. What did I do?" The orb buzzed. Human blood. Compatible. Vital signs stabilizing. Unknown link forming. Jace stared. "Link? What kind of link?" The orb didn't answer. Alira sat up slowly, her eyes glowing faint silver. "You gave blood," she said softly. Her voice was calm, musical. Jace nodded, confused. "You needed help." She placed a hand on her chest. "You saved me. That is rare among stars." Jace raised an eyebrow. "You can speak Terran?" "Only a little," she replied. "You bled. I saw memories." Jace's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" She touched his forehead gently. Flashes hit him images of giant towers, flying ships made of light, a people dancing under twin moons. Then war. Burning skies. The Zirn. He stumbled back. "What was that?" he asked, breathing hard. "Our bond," Alira said. "Varellan blood joins with spirit. When you gave, you shared more than blood." Jace sat on the floor. This was too much. First a crash, now ancient aliens, and now blood bonds. Alira stood, weak but alive. "They come," she whispered. "Zirn, they hunt me." Jace stood up fast. "How far?" "Not far. I feel their minds." He sighed. "Great. Guess I'm still in the middle of this war." Alira looked at him. "You helped me. Now I help you. Come. There's a place, safe, for now." She moved toward the back of the temple. Jace followed, limping slightly. "What happens now?" he asked. She turned to him, her silver eyes serious. "You gave blood to the last Varellan. Now, your story is written with mine." Jace didn't understand everything, But one thing was clear: he had started something strange. Something big. He had come to this planet as a soldier. But now, he was something more. The Unity Vanguard drifted silently in space, bathed in the soft glow of distant stars. Inside, the calm after the storm felt almost unreal. The tribunal was over. The verdict clear. Humanity had earned respect, and the truth about Sarai 9's armor was known. Elias Carter sat in the observation deck, staring at the stars. Sarai 9 stood nearby, her armor's lights pulsing softly in the quiet room. The tension that had been between them since that accidental touch had slowly melted into something new. Understanding. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Sarai 9 turned and looked at Elias. Her voice was steady, but there was softness in it. "You said we're done after I touched your armor." Elias smiled faintly. "Yeah, you did. But I think we were only done being afraid." She nodded slowly. "I was afraid of feelings, of the unknown. But now I see that the emotional anchor was not a weakness. It was a bridge." Elias reached out, brushing his hand lightly against her armored shoulder. This time, no lag, no pause. Just connection. "We're not done," he said. "Not now. Not ever." Sarai 9's eyes glowed brighter. "No. We are beginning." The ship's crew watched quietly as the bond between human and alien armor grew stronger. Some whispered that it was the start of a new era, not just for their ship, but for the entire galaxy. Captain Marin Zhao gathered the senior officers. "The emotional code saved Sarai 9's armor and her spirit," she said. "It shows that humanity's strength isn't only in technology or power. It's in hope, trust, and connection." Elias and Sarai 9 worked side by side, together. They helped others understand the beauty of shared feelings even between machine and organic life. One evening, Elias sat at the ship's communication console. He sent a message to Earth: "Peace is possible. It lives in the small moments, the touches, the memories, the trust. We will keep building bridges." He leaned back and looked out at the stars. Sarai 9 joined him. "We have a long journey ahead," she said. "We do," Elias replied. "But together, we can face anything." In the silence of space, a new kind of bond had formed, not just between species, but between heart and machine, past and future, and humanity stood proud, ready to show the galaxy what it truly meant to be alive. Jace and Alira moved quietly through the ancient tunnels beneath the jungle. The path was long and twisted, filled with strange lights and soft sounds from deep within the walls. It felt like the temple itself was alive and watching them. "How far is this place?" Jace asked, looking around. "Not far now," Alira replied. "We are near the Solitude Vault." Jace touched the side of the tunnel. It was smooth, warm, and pulsing faintly. "Your people built all of this." "Yes," Alira said, her voice proud but quiet. "Long before your world reached the stars." They stepped into a large chamber. The ceiling stretched high above them, covered in stars that blinked and moved like a real sky. In the center stood a wide circle, carved with symbols and lines that glowed in soft gold. "This is the Gate of Trials," Alira said. "It protects the Solitude." Jace stepped forward. "What kind of trials?" "Not just strength," she said. "Heart, spirit, trust." As they entered the circle, the lights brightened. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed from above. "One bears the royal blood. One bears the gift of the forgotten. Who will pass the test?" Jace looked at Alira. She nodded. The floor beneath them shifted. The symbols turned into steps, pulling them downward into another chamber. When the lights returned, they found themselves standing in front of 3 doorways. Each door had an image: a burning star, a falling tree, and a broken sword. "The trials have begun," Alira whispered. The voice returned. "Choose the path that leads with truth." Jace stared at the doors. "This is a puzzle." He looked at the pictures. The star was too violent. The sword was about battle. The tree seemed peaceful, even though it was falling. "I think it's the tree," he said. "It shows change, not destruction." Alira nodded. "Let's trust your instinct." They entered the middle door. The chamber ahead was filled with light. No traps, No noise. Just peace. You were right, she said. The voice spoke again. One step closer. Now, give what is yours. A platform rose in front of them. A glowing crystal blade hovered above. Ira stepped forward. This test is mine. She cut her hand gently and placed her blood on the blade. The chamber lit up blue. Then another platform rose beside it. Jace sighed. Of course. He stepped forward, cut his hand, and let his blood touch the crystal. This time, the chamber filled with bright white light. The ground shook. The two blood marks merged into one glowing stream, and the final door opened. Together, they entered the vault of the Solitude. Inside was a huge room. At the far end stood a tall spire of clear crystal, glowing from within. Floating in its center was a heart-shaped object, pulsing with power. It was alive. It was the soulless heart. Jace stepped closer, amazed. It's beautiful. Alira bowed her head. This is our last hope. As she moved closer, the Solitude glowed blue. A soft voice echoed from it. Royal blood detected. Core connection unstable. Alira reached out her hand, but the light pushed her back. Host too weak. Bond incomplete. She fell to her knees, breathing heavily. Jace ran to her side. Alira, I'm fine, she whispered. It rejected me. Jace looked at the heart, then at his hand. Let me try. She looked at him, shocked. You are not a Varellan. I gave you my blood. It changed something in me, maybe. That's enough. He walked to the Solitude and touched the edge of the crystal spire. The light flared, then calmed. Warm energy flowed through his body. Mixed blood detected. Human Varellan bond confirmed. Acceptable. Jace gritted his teeth. It felt like fire and ice were flowing in his veins. The Solitude pulsed faster. Alira cried out. Jace, stop. It could hurt you. He shook his head. No, I feel it. It knows me. The heart floated down slowly and stopped in front of him. To awaken true power, one must choose. To give more, a second crystal rose nearby shaped like a dagger. Alira gasped. It wants more blood. A deeper link. Jace looked at her. Will it save you? Yes, she said. But it may hurt you. He took a deep breath. Then it's worth it. He picked up the dagger, sliced his palm deeply, and placed his hand on the Solitude. Blinding light filled the room. He saw visions of Alira's childhood, her people, the final war, their pain and hopes. He saw himself as a small boy lost in battle, growing into the soldier he became. When the light faded, Jace dropped to his knees. The Solitude now floated beside him, fully awakened. Alira ran to him. Are you all right? He smiled weakly, still breathing. Her eyes were full of wonder. You did it? The Solitude is bonded. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the temple. A red light flashed from the walls. Warning, Zerun forces approaching. Hostile breach detected. Jace stood up slowly, holding the Solitude. Looks like we've got company. Alira stood beside him. Then let's show them the strength of our bond. Together, they turned to face the path back to the surface, ready for the next battle. The temple shook with every blast. Dust fell from the ceiling. Red lights flashed along the walls. The warning voice repeated, Zerun forces detected. Entry breach in progress. Jace held the glowing Solitude in his hand. It floated above his palm. Warm and bright. The bomb was strong now. He could feel energy moving through his body, like lightning under his skin. Alira looked at him with concern. They're coming for the heart. We must not let them take it. How many are there? Jace asked. She closed her eyes and focused. At least 20 soldiers, maybe more. They're in the upper halls now. Jace loaded his pistol. Then we make our stand here. Alira shook her head. No, if we fight here, the Solitude might be damaged. We must take it to the surface gate. There, the light can call for help. Jace looked around. All right, lead the way. They ran through the tunnels, the Solitude floating beside them. Glowing brighter with each step, the walls lit up as they passed, reacting to the power it carried. Behind them, screeches and thuds echoed. Zerun soldiers had entered the temple. They're fast, Jace said. Breathing hard, they smelled the Solitude, Alira said. They are hungry for its power. Suddenly, a wall burst open in front of them. A Zerun warrior crawled through, tall and armored, with sharp claws and glowing red eyes. Jace didn't wait. He fired his pistol 3 times, each shot glowing with blue light from the solid bond. The first to bounce off the alien's armor, but the third struck its eye. The creature screamed and fell back. Jace raised his eyebrows. "Nice upgrade. The solid shirt strengthens your weapon," Alira said, "but not forever. Use it wisely." They continued running, dodging broken stone and falling beams. More Zerun chased them from behind, hissing and clicking. At last, they reached a tall chamber. A wide stone door stood at the end. Carvings of stars and light covered it. "This is the surface gate," Alira said. "I can open it with the solid shirt." "Do it. I'll hold them off." She nodded and ran to the door. Jace turned and raised his pistol, aiming down the long hallway. Zerun shadows moved closer. "Come on, Bugs," he whispered. "Let's dance." The first wave charged. Jace fired quickly, hitting 3. The blue light from his gun burned through their armor, but more kept coming. A clawed hand grabbed his arm. He twisted and shot at close range. Another Zerun jumped at him from the side. He dodged and kicked it back. Behind him, Alira floated a few inches above the floor, her hands glowing. The solid shirt moved around her in a circle. The door slowly opened, but it was taking time. "Jace," shouted Alira, "we need that door open now." She didn't answer. She was deep in focus, speaking words in an ancient tongue. More Zerun filled the chamber. One leapt at Jace from above, but before it landed, a shield of light formed in front of him and knocked the alien back. Jace blinked. "Was that me?" Alira opened her eyes for a moment. "Yes, the bond is growing." A large Zerun commander stepped into the room. Its body was covered in black armor. Its claws were long and sharp. It growled in a deep voice. "Give us the heart, and we will spare you." Jace smirked. "I've heard that before." The Zerun roared and charged. Jace tried to dodge, but the alien slammed him against a wall. Pain shot through his body. His pistol dropped. The Zerun raised its claw to strike, but then light exploded from Jace's chest. The solid shirt flew to him and formed a glowing shield around his body. The Zerun claw hit the shield and shattered. Jace pushed forward, glowing with energy. He punched the alien with all his strength. The blow sent the Zerun flying across the room. He turned to Alira. "How much longer?" She smiled. "It is ready." The stone door opened fully. Bright sunlight poured in from outside. The jungle could be seen in the distance. "Let's go," Jace shouted. Elira ran through the door. Jace followed, but more Zerun came from behind. One grabbed Alira's arm. She cried out. Jace turned and grabbed the alien, pulling it off her. Another Zerun struck him in the side. He fell to the ground. Then Alira reached for the solid shirt. It floated between them and flashed. A wave of energy blasted out in all directions. Every Zerun in the chamber was thrown back, stunned or unconscious. The temple shook. Stones began falling from the ceiling. Elira pulled Jace to his feet. "We must go now." Together, they ran through the open gate and into the jungle. Behind them, the temple's doorway sealed shut. They stopped under a tree, breathing hard. The solid shirt floated above them, still glowing. "We made it," Jace said, wiping sweat from his forehead. Alira nodded. "But they will return." This was only the beginning. Jace looked at her. "Then we need to finish what we started." She smiled. "With the solid shirt, we can awaken the old power. And with your blood, we have a chance." Jace looked at the rising sun. Birds flew across the sky. He felt stronger, clearer, and more alive than ever. The war was not over. But now, they had hope. Jace opened his eyes slowly. He was lying on a soft crystal bed inside a glowing chamber. The roof above him looked like moving glass, showing stars and light spinning gently. His body didn't hurt anymore. In fact, he felt calm, strong even, fresh, like something inside him had been reborn. "Alira," he called softly. The door slid open, and she stepped inside. Her skin glowed softly, and her silver eyes were calm. "You're awake," she said with a small smile. Jace sat up. Where? Where are we? This is the healing core, she said. It's deep within a Varellan sanctuary, hidden far from the temple ruins. After the battle, the Solitude led us here. Jace looked at his hands. His skin was smooth, like new. His movements were faster. He felt stronger than before. I feel different, he said. Alira nodded. That's because you are. The Solitude didn't just protect you. It healed you, changed you. Jace raised an eyebrow. Changed how? She stepped closer. You are no longer just human. You carry Varellan light now. The bond made your body more alive, more connected to energy, to memory. He blinked. So, what does that make me? Alira answered gently, a bridge being, a living connection, between two lost worlds, human and Varellan. Jace laughed quietly. That's a big title for a guy who crash-landed by accident, but not by chance, she said. I believe something greater brought you here. Jace stood up. So what now? The Zerun won't stop. They'll come again. Yes, Alira said, her voice turning serious. And they are planning something bigger. I saw it in one of their minds. You read their mind? Jace asked. I touched one during the fight. She said, for a moment, I saw their leader, the High Mind. He wants to break the galaxy with dark energy, and he wants the Solitude. To do it, Jace clenched his fist. We can't let that happen. No, Alira said. That's why we must act first. She walked over to a crystal table. A glowing map appeared above it. Stars and planets floated in the air. This is the Alira system, she said, pointing to a bright spot. Long ago, it was the capital of my people. It still holds the beacon core, a signal strong enough to reach across galaxies. If we activate it, we can call other allies and warn the human fleet. Jace leaned closer. That could turn the tide. Yes, Alira said. But the Zerun know it too. They will try to stop us. Jace nodded. Then let's beat them there. Alira looked at him. You're sure you're ready? He smiled. I've never felt more ready. Later that day, they stood at the edge of a launch bay. A sleek silver ship waited for them, shaped like a bird, glowing with soft light. Varellan tech. Fast, powerful. This is the Aurelian Star, Alira said. One of our last living ships. Jace stepped inside and pressed. The controls moved. When he looked at them, the ship felt alive, like it could read thoughts. I like this ship already. He said, it responds to the bonded, Alira said, stepping beside him. The Solitude floated into the ship's core. Lights flashed, the engines hummed gently. The ship was ready, setting course for the Alaris beacon. Alira said, they launched into space, passing stars and forgotten ruins. Jace sat in silence for a moment, thinking about everything. Earth, the war, the crash, and now, flying with a star princess to restart a forgotten light. He turned to her. Do you think the galaxy will listen? If they remember hope, she said. Then yes. As they neared the Alaris system, alarms rang. Jace looked at the screen. Zerun ships, 5 of them, and one is big. Alira's face was calm. That's a Dread Splitter class, very strong, but not faster. She pushed forward, guiding the Aurelian Star through asteroid fields and gravity pulls. The Zerun chased them, shooting plasma beams. Jace manned the defense turret, firing back, with light cannons powered by the Solitude. Each shot hit like thunder. One Zerun ship exploded, then another. But the Dread Splitter was still behind them. They're trying to block our path, Jace shouted. We won't let them, Alira said. The Solitude lit up, forming a golden shield around the ship. The next enemy blast bounced off like water on glass. The old Varellan ship roared forward and broke through the blockade. Ahead, the beacon tower floated above a dead planet. It was massive, shaped like a star with arms reaching into space. Elira landed the ship on a bright platform. We're here, inside the tower. Strange machines lit up as they entered. Varellan symbols moved across the walls. The air felt thick with memory. Elira walked to the central crystal. This is the beacon core, she said. With this, I can awaken the light. She reached forward. The Solitude floated from the ship into her hands. Her body glowed as she began the activation. Jace watched his light move across the beacon. It was working. But then another warning. Zerun soldiers dropped from above, landing hard on the floor. Jace raised his pistol. You just don't give up, do you? Alira didn't. Stop! Hold them. I need more time. Jace fired fast, moving with speed he didn't know he had. The Varellan bond guided his hands. He jumped, rolled, dodged, and fired again. More Zerun fell. But more came. Then the beacon pulsed. A massive wave of light shot into space. The sky above the planet turned gold. Alira stood tall, her body glowing like a sun. It is done, she said. The Zerun froze. Their armor cracked. Some ran. Some dropped their weapons. Jace stepped beside her. What now? He asked. She looked at the golden sky. Now. The galaxy hears us. Now. The fight truly begins. Above the old beacon tower, the sky burned gold. The signal had gone out, across nearby systems. Silent receivers woke from sleep. Lights blinked on forgotten satellites, and deep in the stars, ships turned toward the signal. The call for help had been heard. Jace stood beside Alira on the tower's platform. The Aurelian star floated nearby, glowing like a silver flame. The Zerun soldiers who had survived now fled into space. The light from the beacon was too strong, too pure. It broke their connection to the high mind. They're running, Jace said, lowering his weapon. Finally, Alira's hair danced in the air, full of light. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with purpose. They will come back, she said softly, stronger, angrier. But now we are not alone. Suddenly, her hand touched her chest. The soldier floated above it and pulsed once. Jace turned to her. What's wrong? I feel them, she said. Varellan minds. Awakening. Across space. Jace blinked. You mean your people survived? In pieces, she said. Hidden in energy. In memories. In old machines. But your blood, your bond did open the gate. They are returning. Jace couldn't speak. For a moment, he just stared at her. The girl he had found dying in a ruin was now glowing like a queen of stars. You did it, he said. You brought them back. No, Alira said, stepping closer. We did it, just then. The screen on the ship flashed. An incoming signal. Jace tapped the console. A face appeared. Admiral Vance of the Terran Defense Fleet. Commander Ward. The Admiral asked. Surprised. Where have you been? Jace grinned. A long story, sir. But I have backup now. He stepped aside. Alira appeared on the screen, standing tall. I am Alira of Varellan, she said. Daughter of light. We bring warning and hope. Admiral Vance blinked. Stunned. Jace added, the Zerun are planning a massive strike. But we have a weapon, something they fear. And we're ready to fight. The Admiral nodded slowly. Understood. Sending coordinates. Meet us at Siren 5. We'll plan the counterattack. The signal ended. Alira looked at Jace. So it begins? The next day, the Aurelian star jumped. Through space, they arrived at Siren 5, a human base surrounded by defense rings and warships. Alira stepped out first, dressed in a long white robe that shimmered like the moon. Jace walked beside her, now wearing armor laced with Varellan light. The human soldiers stared in silence. She's real, someone whispered. Jace looked around. Where's the Admiral? Admiral Vance stepped forward, nodding at them both. Welcome, Princess, Commander. We've prepared. For war. Inside the war room, holograms showed enemy fleets moving near the edge of neutral space. At the center was a massive red cloud, the hive ship of the Zerun High Mind. They've grown too bold, Vance said. This may be their final move. Then, we make it ours, Alira said. She touched the soldier, which rose into the air. With this, I can protect your ships, heal your wounded, cut through their poison. Vance smiled. Good, because we'll need every edge we can get. 3 days later, the Battle of Star Sun began. Jace sat inside the Aurelian star, leading a group of strike fighters. Alira stood in the heart of the ship, guiding the soldier, sending waves of protection to the Terran fleet. The stars filled with fire. Hundreds of ships clashed. The Zerun released swarms of drones. But the solid shirt's energy burned through them. Alira's voice echoed through the comms. Push forward. Their link is breaking. Jace flew straight at the hive ship, dodging beams and missiles. His ship moved like it was part of him. He aimed for the ship's core. A giant Zarin cruiser blocked the way. Too big, one pilot said. We can't pass it, Jace replied. Then we break it. He charged. The solid shirt flared behind him. His ship glowed gold. He fired. A beam of pure light shot out, breaking through the cruiser like glass. The path was open. Alira joined him on the main screen. Together, she said. Jace smiled. Together, they flew into the hive ship's core. Inside was the hive mind, massive brain-like creature glowing with dark energy. It turned toward them. You are nothing, it hissed. A weak human and a broken star child. Jace looked at Alira. Let's prove him wrong. They joined hands. The solid shirt burst with light. A wave of pure energy blasted out, hitting the hive mind directly. The darkness screamed. The ship began to break. They turned and flew out fast. The explosion behind them like a newborn star. Outside, the Zarin fleet froze. Lost without their leader. The Terran ships pushed forward, finishing the battle. When the war ended, peace talks began. Alira stood before the Galactic Council, glowing in silver robes. Jace stood beside her, no longer just a soldier, but a symbol of the new bond. We are not here to rule, she said. We are here to rebuild. Together. The council agreed. Old enemies became allies. A new age began. Years later, in a quiet garden on a floating city, Jace sat beside Alira, watching the stars. Still unbelievable, he said. What is, she asked, smiling, that all this started? Because I gave blood to a stranger in a broken temple. She took his hand. You gave more than blood. You gave hope. He smiled. So what now, Star Queen? She leaned on his shoulder. Now, we keep building the future, and above them, the stars shone brighter than ever.